My name is Christopher Lyles. Born and raised in Maryland. Graduated Morgan State University, electrical engineering in 2004. I also graduated Johns Hopkins 2009, School of Engineering, Technical Management. About good 7-8 months ago, I started getting a little sick. I had upper respiratory infection 3 times. I had pneumonia once. I had bronchitis twice. So I ended up going to the doctors. Every month I was going to the doctors, every month. And finally I went to a specialist and they told me that I needed to get a CT scan. So I went ahead and got the CT scan. They said it was actually a tumor that was in my throat. I took a pulmonary function test and it shows how you are breathing, how much air you're taking in, how much air you're pulling out, pushing out. Within that, I was only blowing out 20% of what I was actually supposed to be blowing out. So my airway was being closed off. So the tumor was actually closing my airway off. From there, I got a stent put in my throat and they actually did a biopsy. As soon as I woke up, the doctor told me that the tumor was malignant, meaning that I had cancer. That kind of devastated me. My mother was there, my father was there, it devastated me. And from that point on, I had to wait for the pathology report to come through and they actually told me what it was. They actually told me it was Adenoid Cystic Carcinoma of the Trachea, which is formerly known also as ACC. Now this type of cancer is a very, very rare cancer. It only affects 0.1% of all cancer patients, period. It's a very slow growing cancer. So technically I really don't even know how long I had this type of cancer. They told me that within 2 months, either 2 months to 2 years it takes to get diagnosed. The doctor also told me that if they didn't catch it when he did, which was in June of this past year, 2011, that I'd have been dead in 6 months. So from there, I just did a whole bunch of research. That whole month I had the stent put in my throat, I did a whole bunch of research. I tried to see exactly what was my options. Between me, my sister, and my brother-in-law, who was a cardiologist down in Georgia. We did extensive research to see what are my options. I had radiation, chemo options. There's not that much information out there on ACC. So chemo really doesn't affect that type of tumor. Radiation, yes, it affects it a little bit, but again, it's not that much research out there, and it's not that many people that have done that type of radiation, and there's different types of radiation. Surgery. Now, classical surgery, they said, is called resection, where they basically take your cancer out. They take your trachea out, clean the cancer off, and they reattach the trachea. They told me that I wouldn't have enough trachea to reattach, so basically I'd be dead. So from there, my brother-in-law got in touch with Dr. Paolo Macchiarini, who's a doctor out in Europe, and he has performed the first tracheal transplant. And from talking to him since June, he was very optimistic. I sent him my paperwork, all my exams, my CT exam, my PET scans, all my information. He looked it over. He was very optimistic of performing a tracheal transplant on me. Now, the type of tracheal transplant that I will be receiving is the one where they use your stem cells and they use a synthetic material to replace your trachea. Beforehand, they would use a donor, where somebody would donate their trachea after they died, and they would clean that trachea off, put that person's stem cells on that trachea, and then replace their trachea with that donor's trachea. Now this time, it'd just be a synthetic material. It wouldn't be an actual real trachea. Regardless of the fact, it'd be a synthetic material that they would use and put my stem cells on there and replace my trachea with that. Right now, I have already been through chemo and radiation down at University of Maryland Hospital. I finished up on September 1st. I didn't lose that much weight. I didn't lose my hair, thank God. I had a couple little complications from there. My throat was sore, very tired from time to time. I broke out a little bit, my face, my back, stuff like that from the chemo. But that was pretty much about it. You know, besides being tired was probably the worst of the complications that I had. You know, being very tired. So now, right now, I'm actually on the cusp of getting surgery, and I'm awaiting this kind of red tape kind of between the hospital and their liaison company that works with international patients. So it's been kind of a long haul going through that and trying to get them the money. We actually trying to raise up to about $450,000. That's what they originally quoted me, saying that in order for them to schedule the surgery, I had to pay them $450,000 up front before they waive to schedule me. And right now, I partnered up with NTAF, National Transplant Assistance Fund. So you can actually go and donate right now. You go to www.ntaf.org. You go to the Patients tab, you type in my name, Christopher Lyles, and it'll pull up my webpage, and it'll show you how you can donate. Either you can write a check out or you can swipe your credit card, and you can donate either way. We have also partnered up with Flow Nation, who's a nonprofit organization that deals with obesity, and they are very willing in helping us out, helping me out in raising funds. So you can go to www.flownation.org and you can donate there also to my situation. Since I've been diagnosed, I have talked to a lot of people that have had cancer, or they have had family member or a friend have had cancer, and every last person said, you gotta be upbeat, you gotta keep your spirits up, you gotta have prayer. I have a 4-year-old. I'm not going anywhere. I want to see her grow. I pray to God every single day, you know, that He gives me the grace to wake up the next morning and be able to see my daughter and play with my daughter and not have to worry about that, am I going to be gone within the next 5 or 10 years? You know, I told my doctor that, you know, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm an upbeat person. I'm a very positive person. I try to put off positive energy all the time. I'm a very God-fearing person. You know, so I know what I have at stake. And my family is very important to me. My life is very important to me. And I'm not going anywhere. You know, I told my doctor that I'm going to make cancer look good. You know, so going through the surgery and just going through this whole situation itself is it's an eye-opener, you know, and it's just made me very humble. And God willing, I'll still be here next 20 years from now, 30 years from now, seeing my grandkids run around, play around, seeing my daughter, you know, grow up, get married, go to college, and not all in that order, you know, have kids, and it's about her right now. It's not even about me. I gotta be there for her.